Why is farming life in another world worth your time? Join me and find out.
That man and his manga.
Hello and welcome to That Man. This is another manga review. This time we are looking at Farming Life in Another World, brought to us by One Piece Books. And first, I just want to give a huge thank you to One Piece Books for reaching out and asking me to review this copy of their newest isekai. And you know what? It is a good one. Now, this is a manga adaptation of a popular light novel in Japan. Unfortunately, at this point, we do not have the light novel, so I can't really compare it. But it's still something that is absolutely worth talking about, because you know what? I had a lot of fun with this series. A young man is quite sickly. He's been bedridden for quite some time, and unfortunately he passes away. When he passes away, he meets God, as is always in these isekai series, and he states his case. God tells him, I'm going to send you to another world. And once in that other world, I'm going to give you a few wishes. The young man wishes for a few things, including having a healthy body. God then gives him the legendary hoe, or the legendary farming tool, we should probably call it. And the man is reborn in another world. He starts using this legendary farming tool and realises that, wow, he can do a lot with this. The man can use the tool in order to chop down trees and turn them into firewood, or can till the soil to make it instantly fertile and grow seeds with. It is the ultimate farming tool. He soon starts carving out a little bit of a base for himself. It's kind of, well, Minecrafty, if you think of it. Having to chop down trees, get the wood, make a little base for yourself, which soon becomes bigger and bigger as time goes on. The farming tool is something absolutely broken in this, and God himself actually comments on this a few times by saying, oh, I didn't realise this could do this, or the human shouldn't be able to do this, or oh, he can't run out of energy, but normally it's too powerful for people. And I quite liked that little bit of an aspect for it. It was quite funny just to see God just be like, oh, actually, this shouldn't be happening, but it's happening. I just thought, I don't know, I just really liked that aspect of the series. As the days go on, the young man is carving out a little bit of a farm for himself. He's getting seeds, he's getting all these crops, he doesn't know what to do with them. He's had to make his own toilet, and oh, it's starting to get a little bit stinky. Things start changing, however, as he starts to get more and more visitors to his farm. The first being 2 wolves. That's right, 2 black wolves. And they fall in love, and they bring their pack back to them. And as time goes on, the pack lives with him on the farm, growing and growing and growing until he's got an army of dogs. That's not the only person that he'll meet. He soon meets a young vampire girl who instantly falls in love with him because, of course, it's a harem isekai on top of that. Honestly, I really like the concept of just introducing more and more characters into this, because it was done well enough that the characters were introduced and we were given enough time to actually grow attached to them before introducing another character. Those of you who like monster girls, well, we've got a lot of monster girls who are going to start appearing in this, including an angel and some elves. But it's not just that, he also gets a giant spider who has lots of baby spiders who make clothes and textiles, and he starts getting other people onto his land who can do all of these cool little things, or they'll teach you a new recipe, or they'll just be like, oh well, actually you can do this with the soil and get salt. And I really like that concept. One of the series I absolutely love, which I don't see a huge amount of, is town building series. So a town building series for me is something like Reincarnated as a Slime, or How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. A series where it has this fantasy element, but it not only manages to have an interesting story, it also manages to have all of these little tips and tricks on how to build, well, in this case, a farm. And as someone who grew up on titles such as Harvest Moon and later Rune Factory and Story of Seasons and Stardew Valley, I got really attached to this. I was reading it and I was just like, you know what, this is a lot of fun. This is a really fun series. And I'm absolute genuine with this. This is a series that I probably wouldn't have checked out at any point unless it was offered to me as a review, and I'm really glad that I did check it out, to the point that I'm really hoping that we will get the light novel. Let's all lobby One Piece Books and get them to get the light novel. We'll throw little pebbles over at the windows and just be like, go on, release the light novel. There's a market for it, maybe. So there is a lot of positives with farming life in another world. However, there is a few little negatives, and I feel like this comes from being a light novel adaptation. The entirety of the first chapter is... it's rather bland. It's literally just the main character talking to God basically in space. There's not a lot going on visually. There's not a lot that if you pick this up and you read one chapter, you probably just go, oh well, actually, yeah, this isn't for me. Which obviously in a light novel setting would normally be traditionally the first chapter. After that, the art style is kind of okay. It's not anything particularly fantastic. It's serviceable. I feel like I would call it a light novel manga adaptation. You know, when you kind of say the way it's just kind of like, well, this is pretty much exists to promote the light novel. If people get into the manga, they'll check out the light novel, or if they get into the anime, they'll check out the manga and the light novel onwards. It's absolutely serviceable in this. I kind of feel like they could have done a little bit better with it, especially when you kind of start getting into some of the more visual aspects when it comes to the crops and stuff. Farming Life in Another World was an absolute fun read. While it does take a little bit of time to get into it, once it gets going, and I can tell you now, this is going to be a series that, if you guys like titles such as Harvest Moon or Rune Factory as games, or even if you like Minecraft, you're going to get a lot of really good content out of this. It's going to be an underrated title, I feel. I feel like once maybe we get the anime adaptation and the light novel eventually out, it's going to be one of these ones that I feel will be pretty big, because it's going to be appealing to a lot of people. But that's just my opinion. Thank you once again to One Piece Books for sending me a review copy in advance, and you guys can check out the series when it releases later this month. And that's it for me. Thank you ever so much for following me to the very end. It really does mean a lot, and if you'd like to help out the channel, please consider leaving a like, please consider subscribing, and let me know in the comments what you think of Farming Life in Another World if you've read it, or if not, think of what your favourite monster girl would be in terms of a farm setting. I've just got flashbacks to that Monster Muscle Made Volume 14 where it was just all about being on the ranch and milk and stuff. Thank you once again, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.